A very important issue that I would like to now talk about is this slurry that I see. I've seen it on YouTube videos. I've seen it in other educational formats. When was the last time you saw, and I've mentioned this in other videos, a corneocyte slough? Never. The reason why is because one corneocyte is underneath the visible view or ability of the human eye to see that small. That's why we don't see the shaft elements of as a hair growth. That's why when we see pictures of the stratum corneum, or we see pictures in medical books or educational videos, pamphlets, whatever, or the human hair, things like that at that small micron level, it's always, oh my gosh moment. It's always cool. Look at that. Okay. Well, you can't see exfoliation. What you can see is when you rip through the stratum corneum and go into the epidermis, into that solid cheese-like function of the or mass of the skin, and you build it up on the blade. Go ahead and draw that here like this. Okay? Now you can see it. Why is that? Because there's such a massive amount of those corneocytes clumped together so that you can now see them. What amazes me is when I hear and see estheticians talk about scraping the skin with a knife and seeing that slurry and saying all those dead skin cells were beautifying the skin. Bullshit. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You are not. What you are doing is you are destroying your client's skin's ability to protect it from the outside elements, including the sun, and you are increasing everything as it relates to post complications. Now I'm going to let that sink in a little bit, and now I'm going to prove it, and now I'm going to get into it. And if you're not already shocked and you're already not like sitting back in your chair, you should be.
Dramatic, yes. I apologize for the unprofessional use of language and tone. There are some things about me and how I feel that I will not change because the result is a loss of money through the loss of sales because I offended a client. I care very much about the success of my company, but I care more about the success and the knowledge of my professionals who depend on me to bring them the best education and products, whether they believe me or not, or like what I say at a moment in time. Is there a way to say things differently? There always is, but this topic is passionate for me, and when that is the case, I am raw and unfiltered. I do not mean to offend or make anybody feel or look bad or less than. Again, I apologize if the last few minutes have offended you in any way.
As you dig into the epidermis, and from this discussion, what I want you to do is keep the epidermis as one layer with the stratum corneum inside of it. We can't separate them at this point because your blade is going past the stratum corneum into the epidermis. Are you going into the dermis? I would venture to guess that If you are seeing redness at a very, very heightened level, not blood, obviously, but if you're seeing redness, you are very, very close, okay? It's just one of those things where we just can't see, and with no signs of visible blood. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever scraped your skin and seen very, very, like a redness, like right there? That's kind of what I'm talking about, okay? So we want to go ahead and come back to the blade, the pressure, the sharpness, and how much you're digging. As you can see by the thickness of the stratum corneum, the blade enters the SC, digs into it with your pressure, and you are scraping the entire stratum corneum forward. One of the interesting things about doing dermaplaning is, what do you do after you've performed the procedure? When the client leaves and their skin is feeling refreshed. Well, here's where the debate comes in with regards to professionals who completely disagree with me. When they see the slurry, when they see the skin cells build up, when they comment in their educational videos or comment on teaching dermaplaning, they believe that it's correct to witness and talk about the skin cells that they're removing. Well, are they talking about the complete destruction of the stratum corneum at the same time? Or the belief that removing the stratum corneum is removing dead skin cells, which will result in a heightened level of beautification immediately as a response to the scraping? Removing and renewing the skin? It's not how it works. What you're doing is you're removing the skin's ability to protect itself mechanically with a pressure and a force and an instrument that the skin cannot fight against. Why don't we just go in and get a kitchen knife? And I mean, it might be crude, but I'm not kidding, and scrape the skin. It's the same thing. This is going to be a little shocking, and I've said it before. Microdermabrasion, dermaplaning were and are old school. The instrument and technique has been removed from serious aesthetics, serious medical offices. You may not believe me, but it is true, and it is true in my travels. This is why. This is not talked about in an educational environment trying to sell you the tools, sell you the protocols, or the products that go with the protocol. It is basically an instrument for estheticians lacking in education, lacking in experience, overly filled with fear, anxiety, and insecurity to be able to perform procedures and treatments that generate an income. Also, dermaplaning and its mechanical exfoliation techniques are also something that retail clients are not informed or educated enough on how bad they are for them, so therefore they ask for the procedure because they're whipsawed like Michelle, listening to the internet, listening and without this information, and the retail client is forcing the professional to do treatments to generate income and make a living. Will I ever perform dermaplaning? Yes. Microdermabrasion? No. Never. Out of everything I'm saying, why would I ever say that I would perform dermaplaning? You're going to have to wait for that answer in another video. And it looks like it'll be the next one because I'm covering it pretty solidly. And so if that information is not enough, let's go ahead and now talk about this. Remember in one of the previous videos, we were talking about the hair. So let's go ahead and draw that. There's the hair. Okay. And then remember, I'm not going to do it now, but remember, the blade comes across. What's going to happen? It's going to remove it all. We're done. Look how low the blade is. All right. This blows my mind. Okay. So the question was, the client comes in on Saturday and gets dermaplaning. The blade comes across, shaves their face. A little red. Everything's okay. Put a little sunscreen on. They didn't go out in the sun. Post protocol, they listened. Everything's good. Remember, they're not overly sensitive. They're not doing anything crazy. Everything's good. Monday comes along, and the hair is starting to grow back. Sunday was perfect. Let's give it Tuesday. Sunday and Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, perfect. No makeup Saturday. Sunday, they light makeup. Monday's a normal work day.